Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
and Crime. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, night, wherever you want to have. So today, we're actually going to start off a little bit different, Estella. We have a very special birthday. We are wanting to say happy birthday to Miss Emily Wingfield. Happy birthday, Emily. I hope that you had a wonderful day. She's turning how old is it?
She's turning the big old double digits. 10.
Wow.
10 años.
I can't believe it. Happy birthday, Emily. I hope that you had a wonderful day, that your parents bought you all the
Gifts.
Todos.
Whatever's on your wish list.
Todos los gifts, and then you got good cake.
Yeah. Can you still take cupcakes to school?
Yeah, I think you can, but they have to be like a certain kind, or I don't know how that works.
Okay. But I hope you got that.
Yeah.
I hope that you got all the parties at school.
Oh, I know what. The cupcakes con the little rings on top. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hope
but
she
if
got
that's
those.
if that's what she wanted, Emily.
Only if that's what you wanted, Emily. So, Emily, happy 10th birthday, and I hope that you had a good one.
Yes. So, happy birthday from the Cafecito and Crime
Pod fam.
Yeah, just us two.
Just us. We're the only fam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. No pasa nada.
No.
Another thing is that Estela bought me coffee today.
Yay.
So this coffee...
Es que ya está frío afuera.
Para nosotros it's cold. It might not be cold for other people, but for us it is. I got the tall sugar cookie almond latte.
Wait, hold on. It's 59 degrees.
It's 59?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Everywhere else it might be colder than here.
Oh, it is, of course. But it actually just stayed cold the whole day. Como fresco, pues, para decir.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it wakes up like 50, pero ya by the afternoon it's like 80 degrees y stuff, calor and stuff.
Yeah.
But this one, it actually stayed pretty cool.
Yeah, we're excited for the coldness. Maybe this year we'll have an actual...
No, we're not.
Okay.
Pero according to the news, I just realized we didn't talk about the weather last episode.
We didn't talk about the weather. Last episode was hot as balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pero ya se puso a little bit better. So what do you have for us today, Sela?
So I know last episode we went across the pond.
We did.
So today we're actually going across the pond too.
Yay! Okay, so we're just going to stay across the pond.
See.
Okay.
For the foreseeable future, or just today and last week's episode.
Awesome. So if you would like to come with us across the pond
Again,
go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
and let's get started.
Drink. What did you end up getting? You didn't mention yours.
Oh, I just got a latte.
Like a vanilla latte?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But I had to heat it up in the microwave because se había puesto caliente.
Yeah, mine's a little bit not warm anymore, but it's okay.
Okay. I had ordered it extra hot, eh?
But I like my coffee not like, I mean, no, I'm lying. I like my shit like burning my fucking mouth.
But okay, so for today's case, we are going, like I just said, again, across the pond to Bradford, West Yorkshire.
Oh, well, this one's a lot easier to say than last week's.
Yeah, last week we had to abbreviate it to GB.
Yeah, because it was a little doozy there.
Yeah. Now, the fun, random, interesting facts about Bradford are: one.
Are you showing off?
No, because last week
I couldn't find shit.
No. It became the wool capital of the world when it was imported in vast quantities during the Industrial Revolution. Wool, WOOL.
Mm-hmm.
According to, I hope I say this properly, WeezuWorkspace.com.
That's hard to say, though.
By 1914, Bradford was considered one of the wealthiest cities in Europe because of wool.
Our country comes out wool.
Wool.
Yeah.
And two, so that's number one. So número dos is that Bradford, for 6 straight years, was crowned curry capital of Britain.
What?
Yeah.
Curry?
Yeah,
okay.
curry. Yes.
But they have a lot of like influence from like other
there's
South
a lot
African
of
and
yeah,
all
there's
of that,
a lot
right?
of different cultures that
That's
lived in the
awesome.
UK. Yeah.
That is so cool. I love curry.
There is an actual annual national competition among restaurants that are selected by local councils. And then that obviously they get judged in like specific categories. And then pues el que gana, pues gana.
That's crazy. That's like here in Chile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's chili
or
season.
barbecue.
Well, yeah. The rodeo.
The rodeo. Well, yeah, but that's awesome that they have that.
Curry?
You would never think.
Like I want to be a judge.
Dude, I would love to be a judge. I love curry. I'm not like, I can cook something similar to curry, but it's not really like real curry. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty
butter
sure that
chicken.
no, like curry. I can make curry, but it's not like the real stuff. Like, but I'm pretty
It's like
sure.
imitation crab.
It's like imitation Taco Bell.
What's imitation Taco Bell?
Well,
who imitates Taco Bell?
Well, the Mexican food is not really Taco Bell, but people call it Mexican food.
Those people do not know anything about Mexican food.
But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like that.
I never be like, yo quiero tacos al pastor, pero I'm going to go to Taco Bell. That's not something that I've ever even,
I don't know. A lot of, it's like people saying que Panda Express is Chinese food. And that's not.
No.
So I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, today we will be discussing the case of Stephen Griffiths, known as the Crossbow Cannibal.
What? Not the cannibal.
Sí, güey. So let's begin with Stephen. Stephen Sean Griffiths was born on December 24th. Pa' acabarla de chingar, güey.
No mames.
Not on Christmas Eve.
Not on Christmas Eve.
In 1969.
That's actually Christmas for the Latin people.
Hispanics, as far as I know. We party the 24th and then El Recalentado is the next day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So December 24th, 1969 in Dewsbury, West Yorkshire, to parents Moira Rose.
Oh, I love Moira.
Moira and Stephen Sr. Griffiths. He was the oldest of 3 children. And from what is known, he grew up like in a pretty stable family home. Eventually, Moira and Stephen Sr. did separate. And Stephen, who was actually very close to his dad, he obviously took the separation very, very hard. More so since the kids moved to Wakefield to live with Moira. Y luego el señor, su dad, Stephen Sr., would later remarry and have 2 more children. Stephen, growing up in school, was known as como un rarito. Like he was odd.
What's new?
And a loner. After his parents' separation, he became even more withdrawn, and he wasn't someone that you could like go up to and really engage in conversation. It was reported that he became interested in martial arts and talked a lot about violence.
Oh, okay.
And then he began to collect knives.
Oh, okay.
He was also into fantasy role-playing books involving dragons and other type of mythical creatures.
And what age was he at this point?
I want to say maybe he was just a kid in school.
Oh, okay. Like elementary school, maybe?
Middle school, a lo mejor, yeah. So, Stephen, one thing about him también, he had a high IQ. Baboso no estaba. And attended an expensive private school called Queen Elizabeth Grammar School, which was 9,000 pounds a year in Wakefield.
Oh, shit.
Like his family, no estaban llenos de dinero tampoco, but
they were hardworking.
They were hardworking. And his dad always seemed to have like a good, stable job, from frozen food company rep to general manager, entertainment manager, industrial chemical salesman. So
he was hustling.
Yeah, he was hustling.
What he had to do to make his family
También
survive.
su mamá.
Su mamá? Wow.
No, también su mom.
Not the mamá.
The mamá, como dice Minis, le dice a Tina, mamey.
Mamey.
So while attending Queen Elizabeth, which he only attended for 3 years, from age 13 to 16, according to an old classmate, Stephen took to school a dagger. At another time, he took like throwing stars.
Okay, so he would las quería usar, or
I don't know if he wanted
for
to
protection.
He wanted to show them off.
Maybe.
¿Quién sabe?
Maybe, yeah.
A lo mejor pensaba que alguien le tenía envidia.
A lo mejor quería enseñarle lo que tenía.
And as I said, he was strange, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, but también he was also described by another classmate of his, just kind of quiet and insignificant.
That sucks balls. How the fuck are you insignificant? Like, no vales nada.
Yeah, like, I lo imagino like a wallflower, como que nadie Nobody, maybe he did it for attention, entonces.
Maybe?
You
Like,
know,
oh, look, I'm cool.
Like,
trying
look
to fit
at,
in. Maybe?
look, yeah, here are my daggers and my throwing stars. Where do
I
you even
know.
get throwing stars from?
I don't know, and I really don't want to look it up.
Yeah.
Pero my deal is, like, if you really want to hurt my feelings, call me insignificant, because that would be like,
Wow.
¿qué?
Yo?
Like that.
Yeah.
Like gasp.
Yeah.
Like that.
Now, neighbors of his said that he no salía durante el día. He mostly did it at night.
Cuando andaba haciendo mamadas con las stars.
Yo creo. So like a quick trigger warning for like animal abuse.
Oh, don't tell me.
Again, neighbors stated that they would see him with like an air gun, which I guess they like a BB gun, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And he like lo miraban shooting birds.
Stop.
And they said that he wasn't just dissecting them, he was like ripping them apart.
Okay, so les daba con la BB gun.
Yeah.
And then he would go grab them and then rip them apart?
We're like, yeah, like I guess kind of, and then y que como que parecía que he was enjoying it.
And that's not okay. Where's his parents?
Well, remember his parents are separated.
Sí, pero ¿dónde está su mamá?
A lo mejor trabajando, güey, y tenía
right.
otros dos niños.
You're right.
So remember how I just said that he only attended Queen Elizabeth for 3 years? Well, that is because at the age of 16 in 1986, he dropped out of school.
86 was a good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, good year.
Because he dropped out of school. Not because Barbie was born.
No, not because I was born.
Because he dropped out of school. Mm-hmm. So he also left home. So se fue. Se fue a vivir el solo. He was out on his own. And he, began getting in trouble with the law.
Pero, okay, so, wait, I'm confused. So he decided to drop out of school. He leaves his home. And then he starts...
Just couch surfing, like just quedándose, donde él pueda.
Okay.
In one incident in 1987, when he was 17, he was trying to steal, haciendo mamadas, pues.
Mamadas, te estoy diciendo, pues.
He was trying to steal from a supermarket in the town of Leeds, which is like about 22 minutes from Wakefield, donde vivía con su mamá. When the store manager trató de pararlo and tried to stop him, Steven pues le sacó una navaja. He bought one of his knives. Not the star. It was a knife. And he actually sliced the manager in the face.
The hell?
Like in la cara. And it was so deep that the cut que le había dado al señor or whoever the manager was, he needed 19 stitches.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
So Steven was arrested and convicted. Yeah? He was convicted on June 23rd of 1997 and actually received, I think he spent time in a juvenile detention center.
Yeah.
In which he only spent about a year there. And then he was released. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was on parole también. Salió, pero
that is
parole.
Crazy.
So afterward, this is not going to go where you think this is going to go, right? So at the age of 19, it seemed that he kind of wanted to get his life back on track somewhat and start fresh. And he returned to school.
Oh.
He enrolled in a psychology course at the University of Bradford.
But he could go to university. Maybe it's different over there without...
Well, he was a juvenile when that happened.
I know, but I'm just asking, without finishing high school? Like, you can do that?
I don't know.
Maybe over there, right?
Oh, yo no sé. But I wouldn't know if he...
Because here you have to, like...
have your high school diploma. But maybe he ended up doing that. Quién sabe. Maybe when he was in juvenile detention.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe he got his GED.
Well, the equivalent, I guess.
Whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, his freedom didn't last very long because in 1989, he was rearrested for possessing an offensive weapon, an air pistol, which was prohibited from his previous conviction.
Yeah, because he was on parole. Yeah.
So he was sentenced to 100 hours of community service.
Where is he getting money to buy this shit, is my question.
Anda robando.
Oh.
Yo creo.
Las guns, me imagino.
Yo creo. Maybe he was getting like little odd jobs here and there, quién sabe. His violent, as no surprise.
No.
His violent streak continued.
I'm not surprised. Are you surprised?
No. In May 1991, he went up to 4 girls in college. He was attending college.
Yeah, he was because he was going psychology. Uh-huh.
Yeah. He took out a knife.
Oh, Lord.
And held it to one of the girls' throat. Porque he thought that they were laughing at him for something. So when he was doing that, le dijo a la girl, "What are you laughing at now?" Wait, well, I'm sure she's scared. I mean, she's not going to be laughing at anything.
Girl, are you kidding me? Pero like, I just don't understand, like, what would get him to that point? Like, he would just get mad because they were, like...
Él pensó que se estaban riendo de él.
Pues sí, pero I don't understand what is causing this, you know? Like, okay. And the girl said she wasn't laughing at anything. I would have been like...
I don't think she said anything. Thankfully, he didn't end up physically hurting her.
Yeah, because he could have sliced her fucking neck.
He just, I'm sure, scarred her fucking life.
Girl, I would never laugh again.
Yeah. For real.
Shit, fuck that. I'll be like, I'm not laughing at anything. Looking at nothing. And si me río, me voy a tapar la boca like, girl, I ain't about to get fucked up.
It's not funny. But as a result, he was charged with 2 counts of disturbing the peace and 1 charge of possessing an offensive weapon in a public place.
So he went back to jail.
This time he was sentenced to 2 years in prison.
Okay.
He spent his first 8 weeks in Rampton Secure Hospital in Nottinghamshire. Where he was evaluated. A psychiatrist diagnosed Stephen with a severe personality disorder, a schizoid psychopath, which kind of reminded me of Nico Jenkins.
Yeah.
After his time in Rampton, he was moved to the prison in Leeds, where it was reported that he talked openly to his fellow inmates about murder.
Oh, okay.
And he confessed to fantasizing about killing, and he knew he was going to kill before the age of 40.
He was sure.
He was sure. He was positive.
Wow.
So after serving his time, he was released and continued to pursue his psychology degree.
This boy is just going to school.
He graduated in 1993.
He actually went and got his degree.
So if he can do it, bitch, everybody can do it.
If this guy that has stars in his pocket and he was
knives
in and out of jail without a home, stealing...
Allegedly. Oh no, he was stealing that supermarket.
And you're gonna tell me that you can...
He finished a psychology degree.
A degree, and you're gonna tell me you can't do it?
And you know, it's really interesting that he chose to do it in psychology. Because what are you trying to figure out, bitch?
Well, he's trying to figure out...
How to get away with...
Yeah, how to get away with shit, or maybe like trying to figure out how to... I guess
understand himself,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just thought that was really interesting. Compare like when we know what he does, you know.
Well, I mean, it's not like he was gonna go to school for butcher or something like that.
But
you know,
who else have you heard of that is a serial killer
I've never heard, like, we've done
and
this
finishes
a
a degree? And I mean, I'm sure there's people, but
yeah, but like while you're doing crime.
Actively,
like
actively a student, and actively
be like, I'll be back, professor. I'm gonna go to jail for 2 months, and then I'll be back.
I'll take my finals.
Yeah, I'll take my finals in jail. Like, what the fuck? I mean, that's good for you. Like, I'm excited for you, but what?
Like in psychology?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Be like, I gotta commit crimes to understand.
Yeah, but then what are you gonna like? You can't. I don't know. Maybe over there, and is it different from them? Do you need not to? Like, I don't know how that works to get a job. Like, you know?
I don't know either.
Are you just gonna go be a professor somewhere? And you?
I doubt all. I mean, this get expunged. Like, I don't understand.
I don't understand.
Pero anyway, con su psychology degree, toda la cosa. So at this point, he was living on his own, and what I want to say is like maybe like a complex, like a flat complex del gobierno, casi, I want to say. It was called Homefield Court, and it was right in the center of the red light district in Bradford. So you know what the red light district is, right? Donde se juntan, like, it's a lot of sex workers.
Okay.
Yeah, the area where there's a lot of sex work.
We've talked about that before.
Yeah. So por ahí estaba su flat, donde él vivía. And he definitely stood out in public. He'd walk around con su hair así slicked back. I think it was kind of long at some point. He also dressed in a black trench coat.
I'm not surprised.
Black jeans, black t-shirt, black boots. Se ponía sunglasses.
Wow.
And también a veces, you know, they would see him out walking one of his pet lizards on a leash.
Okay. And I think that because of the fact that he has a psychology degree, he probably thinks he's smarter than everybody. So he looks down on everybody. Like, you're a peasant bitch.
To his neighbors, they just thought that he was like an eccentric, just weird guy, you know, pero quiet, and he was introverted. Como que they would say that if he wouldn't make conversation, but si tú le hacías conversación, he te correspondía. Like, he would actually have a conversation with
whatever,
you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, like me.
Yeah, pretty much.
So for as strange as he might have been to some, He didn't have girl problems. ¿Para qué te voy a mentir?
What?
Yeah.
That boy was a player?
Yeah. He had plenty of female acquaintances.
The fuck?
And girlfriends.
Was con el lizard, dude?
Y con la trench coat
Con la
así,
trench
like,
coat?
before the
Yeah,
Matrix.
That's crazy.
He was well educated. He was super smart and charming in his own way, I guess. But like many relationships, when, you know, he first got in a relationship with someone, of course, everything, al principio todo era así como una luna de miel, right? And then not so much. For instance, his relationship with, I'm sorry, I can't remember. I think her name is Zeta or Sita. Okay, Google says it's Zeta. Zeta Pinder. So
I like that name.
In 1998, at the age of 29, Steven met Zeta. They met through a Lonely Hearts column in the newspaper.
Wow.
His post, or I guess como advertisement, si quieres decir, stated his age, what he was going, you know, that he was in the process of being a counselor.
What?
Yeah. She said that she was interested, como que le llamó la atención, pero al mismo tiempo she was reluctant.
So wait. Tell me, what year is this in?
1998.
Okay, so I can see why it's on. It's
on a newspaper.
It's, like
it's not like on Craigslist or something.
It's not like
right.
Tinder.
Yeah.
Pero so then he was like, I'm gonna write about myself.
Yeah, kind of like you do now. Yeah.
Okay. And then he said that he was gonna become
He was in the process of working towards becoming a counselor. ¿Quién sabe si eso sea verdad or no? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Well.
So, like I was saying, she was kind of interested but reluctant, but ended up reaching out to him in the end. They decided to meet at a park. So at least it was a public place.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Good girl.
When she first met him, she described him as gothic looking.
Well,
yeah. Just like I mean, honestly, I'm sure he showed up looking like himself, minus the lizard, you know? Mm-hmm. She also stated that he seemed very full of himself.
That's what I told you.
Yeah,
I felt like he was kind of those kind of people que were like, bitch, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
because
better than you.
Ella dice that he talked a lot about himself, pero que también le dio una foto de él.
Well, maybe he just didn't, well, I was going to say, maybe he didn't know how to be with the girl, you know, maybe
but he
was
already
just
had,
nervous,
no,
you know.
Pero como te dije, he didn't have like girl problems.
I mean, I don't
pero
know.
¿por qué le vas a dar una foto tuya?
Well, you know how back in the day when you were in school y dabas tus fotos?
Yeah, but those are star shots.
Oh.
Pero in 1998, yo me imaginaba como que le di una headshot. Like, I'm an actor. Here's my picture or something. I don't know.
Like, where did he take that picture? Maybe what if it was his passport?
Maybe he just blew it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what size the picture was. Pero
imagine a poster and shit. Like,
he rolled it
roll
up.
this up. It's me.
Yeah.
You want to have a picture of me?
She said that he seemed nice enough because they ended up,
she now has his picture so she can be like, this is who attacked me or something,
right?
You know?
Which I'm assuming she said that he seemed nice enough because they ended up going out.
Oh, okay.
And according to Zeta, he was lovely and kind. Y le quería agarrar la mano y le agarraba la mano. And they were just like lovey-dovey, showing PDA and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they actually began a relationship. Like they began dating. And things seem to have been going well for the couple for a good about 2 years.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was then that things kind of took a turn. Zeta goes on to state that they were out having a drink. They were just out at a pub somewhere having a drink when he said that he had to go to his apartment really quick. And Zeta, she said that she was taken by surprise because as far as she knew, él vivía con sus papás.
Oh.
So when he said, I'm going to go, como que se le salió decirle eso a ella. Uh-huh. So she was like, wait, you don't have a flat. You live with your parents.
Oh, because he was probably like, I'm not going to live with her.
A lo mejor,
probably,
quién sabe.
You know?
So then he was like, oh, yeah, well, I have a flat now. So
I just got it like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, today. That's what we're celebrating here at this pub. Uh-huh. So she told him, all right, let's go see it. So
ay, la otra metiche, ¿qué le importa?
So she's like, pues es tu novio de 2 years, güey.
Dude, pero yo no hubiera ido.
¿A qué es tu novio de 2 years, güey?
Girl, I would have found out he had a flat since before.
Anyways, so he truquis his drink. And he was like, all right, let's go. Y ella dijo that it was like around the corner, so it wasn't far at all. So she says that the whole time, remember, 2 years is a long time. She said that in that whole time, she never felt threatened by him until they walked into his flat.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So this is what happened. They made it to his door and he was like unlocking the door or abriendo la puerta y le dijo that something about next door and that a woman had recently been killed outside there. Y que,
okay.
And she was like, what the fuck? How do you feel comfortable living here? He was like, oh, it's fine. Because he's a man. And
because he tears apart birds.
Yeah. So they walked in and she sat down and she, began looking around and, she noticed that he had like a lot of books and horror books, she called them, because they were like a lot about serial killers. Don't look at my books I have in my Kindle.
Girl.
And crime and murder. And there was a book specifically on Peter Sutcliffe, who was known as the Yorkshire Ripper. Hopefully we can do an episode on him one day because he attacked 21 women and killed 13 of those 21 women between 1975 and 1980. And then his victims were sex workers and he attacked them with a hammer and then he would mutilate them with a knife.
So like Jack the Ripper?
But Ripper kind of. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay.
So también dice que, and we'll find out, I'll just say right now, like Stephen idolized Peter Sutcliffe. Like It was his idol. También dice que above the bookshelf tenía like dos samurai swords.
Samurai.
Colgadas. And dice que en el piso había crossbows.
Okay.
Yes. Eran como unos dos, dijo. So she said that she got like a pit in her stomach.
Yeah.
Like she got bad vibes.
She's like, I probably shouldn't be here.
And Steven was like, oh, I'm going to go make you some tea or whatever, right? And then de que ella dijo, I need to get the fuck out of here. So dice que fingió que se sentía mal. And then she's like, you know what? I'm not feeling well. I'm just going to go home. But he was like, okay, cool, bye. Y se fue. And then she broke up with him the next day.
That's good.
Yes. So by the late 2000s, in 2009, por ahí, Stephen enrolled in a PhD program in criminology at Bradford University.
Bro.
He's smart. Pendejo no está.
No, but nunca dijimos que estaba pendejo.
And his thesis was, quote, Homicide in an Industrial City, Violence in Bradford, 1847 to 1899.
You know what this guy reminds me of? I just realized the guy from the murders in Ohio.
Oh, Brian
Berger? What's his name? Berger something?
Nobody cares about his name.
No, nobody cares. But anyway, so, he was going to school too for psychology. Kohlberger.
Brian Kohlberger.
Yeah, so that reminds me of him because he was going to school for psychology too.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so he was going to school for psychology and he was in class like trying to be big shit and grade people's papers and shit.
Oh, he wanted to be a teacher's pet.
He was a teacher's pet apparently.
Okay.
And so then that's some crazy shit right there. Just whenever you said that, like it reminded me of him because he did around the same stuff.
Yeah. So that same year, on June 22nd, 2009, 43-year-old Suzanne Rushford was reported missing. So Susan had been born on December 31st in 1965 in a town called Manningham to parents Barry and Christine. She had been the couple's third child, and they already had a daughter named Jane and a son named Paul. So the family, también de Susan, they had a stable life. Barry worked in a furniture warehouse, and Christine was a cleaner. Things took a turn for Susan when she was in her late teens when she suffered a brain hemorrhage.
Oh, Lord.
Which, as a consequence, made her suffer from epilepsy afterward. So which required her to take medication for the rest of her life. So Susan se casó to David Rushworth at the age of 19, and the couple went on to have 2 children together. So sadly, the couple divorced in 1994, so 10 years later after they got married. The split from her husband really hit her hard and she became depressed. And on top of that, she was already going through everything with her epilepsy. And, everything just became too much for her and she began using drugs. She then began dating a new man named Chris Watson.
Not Chris Watson.
Right?
Crazy.
I know. In 1998.
Okay.
And moved in with him into a house in an area described as, quote, the rundown Beldine estate. So the couple later had a son named Aaron, but things didn't get any better between Chris and Suzanne. And she had been hanging out with the wrong crowd, de por sí, and things just kind of spiraled for her even more. She began doing heroin. And in time, the only way that she could pay for her addiction was doing sex work. So regardless of, where she was now in life, she was still in contact with her family. They really loved her and they really did care about her, and they would make sure to check up on her and stuff. That is how Susan lived her life for about 10 years.
But she was just doing that to pay for her
drug habit.
Her addiction.
However, she was in the process of getting her life back on track. At the age of 43, she had moved back in with her parents y le estaba ayudando a su mamá take care of her dad, who was suffering from dementia. She was no longer working as a sex worker and had been off heroin for about 5 to 6 weeks. And she also had reconnected with her 2 older children, and she had began visiting her youngest son, who was living with his dad. And Susan was supposed to meet up with a friend later at Lister Park on June 22nd, but she never showed up. When she never made it back home that night, her family reported her missing. Police looked for her at her last known address, which was at Oak Villas in Manningham, but didn't turn up anything. They didn't find her cell phone, and they were not able to locate her in any of the CCTV footage in the area. Also, her bank statements showed that her cards hadn't been used since the day that she went missing. There was no trace of her. The police even made a public appeal, for information about her. And they kind of kept from the public that, she used to do sex work and she was previously a drug addict, because they thought that if they put that out there, people were not going to care, which is really sad.
Yeah, it is sad. There's still people. We always say that.
People, she still has family.
She still has a family.
Yeah. But even that, they got nothing off of that. And even her 2 older children also made public appeals to, gain information, hopefully gain information about her whereabouts, pero tampoco. Like, it was just literally like she just vanished.
It disappeared.
After 10 months, there was still no sign or word about what had happened to Susan. Now, that was 2009. On April 28, 2010, a very similar missing persons report to Susan was filed in Bradford. It was for a woman named Shelley Marie Armitage. And Shelley had been born on September 28, 1978. Her parents were Daryl and Jill. Very much like Susan, Shelley also grew up in what seemed like a stable family. So dad was a machine operator, and her mom stayed at home to take care of Shelley and her 2 younger siblings. In school, Shelley might not have been the smartest girl, but she was very well liked. She was popular and friendly. She, loved music like any girl, clothes, makeup. And it didn't come as a shock to anyone when she announced that she wanted to be a model. Shelley ended up dropping out of school, I believe, también at the age of 16, which is at the time that she met her long-term boyfriend named Craig Preston. And she began working at a bank for a brief period of time. And then she kind of tried her hand to like hairdressing. Maybe she was just trying to find somewhere where she fit.
She needed to find her way,
Yeah, until she could make it as a model, Again, much like Susan, she began to experiment with drugs. And when she couldn't find work as a model, she turned to sex work también to pay for her drug habit. On April 26, 2010, 31-year-old Shelley made plans to meet with a friend on Rebecca Street, which was también, again, in the red light district in Bradford. She did make it to meet with the friend. They had food and they had some drinks, and then they went their separate ways. But that was the last time Shelley was seen alive. Her boyfriend, Craig, reported her missing 2 days later. Very much, again, like Susan's case, the police searched for Shelley by where she lived, which was on Beldean Road, and also found no clues. She hadn't used her cell phone and had missed a court hearing that she had for assaulting a police officer and a couple of other charges.
Okay.
They did discover CCTV footage of her walking on Sunbridge Road at night in the heart of Red Light District at 10:09 p.m. And she was wearing blue jeans, a white vest top, and a gray cardigan tied around her waist on the night that she went missing. But nothing came out of the footage. So
they just saw her walking.
Yeah. Now, to investigators, they kind of did... Shelley's disappearance kind of did remind them of Susan. So they, in their mind, they were like, oh, these are very similar. You know, they just kind of kept that.
Be connected, maybe?
Yeah, they could be connected. Yes. So no estaban así tampoco like, oh, we don't know what's going on. Not even a month later, in May, another woman disappeared.
Oh, shit.
So remember, between Susan and Shelley, about 10 months. Between Shelley and this other woman, about a month.
Oh, he's getting bold, whoever it is.
36-year-old Suzanne Marguerite Blaemeyers. She was born on February 26, 1974 in Bradford to parents Norman and Nikki, her mother. Her dad was Norman and her mom was Nikki. Her dad was a successful businessman. And her mom stayed home to watch over Suzanne and Sue's little siblings. She grew up in a comfortable middle-class family and, you know, she had a very good education. She was extremely intelligent and she was an equestrian también. And you know that shit ain't cheap.
Hell no.
She wanted to become a nurse. So she wanted to become a nurse and was working towards that. She was going to a nursing school in Bradford.
That's awesome.
But she became sidetracked with partying and going to raves.
Es que el party, puro pinche party, bro.
Yeah, especially at that age.
Yeah.
And it began to affect her school. So in 1994, she met and married a guy named Simon. And Simon was heavily involved in like the party and drug scene.
Oh.
And her dad did not approve
I can just imagine.
of the relationship so much that he didn't even show up to her wedding.
Oh, man.
So como que like, she was like, absolutely not. After her marriage to Simon, Suzanne began to go clubbing every weekend because remember, he was like in that scene, and she began taking cocaine and ecstasy. She then began doing heroin. And it was then that it really derailed her life, especially from nursing school, because she ended up getting kicked out of the program.
Yeah.
Her dad was really disappointed in her. And he pretty much told her that she wasn't allowed to step foot in his house.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's a little harsh.
Mm-hmm. Suzanne and Simon didn't make it. I'm sure you're probably not
not surprised on that one.
She had left him by the late 1990s. So que duraron unos que 3 años, a lo mejor 4. She began living with a drug dealer named Ifly Hussein.
Wow. Okay.
Who introduced her to crack cocaine and sex work. I guess you could say he kind of became her pimp.
Yeah.
Sadly. And he would, cuando she would go out to work in la noche, and if she brought less than 200 pounds, he would become violent towards her. Because they needed exactly like 200 pounds to like fund their drug habit. It's como que look like the estimated amount
they needed to
¿Y por qué no
buy.
Se iba
él a empinarse, pues? Why her? What the fuck? I mean, they can pay men for sex works too?
Yeah.
Shit.
Now, Suzanne was working in the early hours of May 22nd, 2010. And when she didn't return home, I'm sorry, I can't say that name seriously. It's literally Fly.
Oh, he's flying, bro. He is flying right
Hussein?
now. Hussein.
Do you think that's his real name?
Probably not.
Okay. So Fly.
Got worried. Fly said, hey, this is not flying.
So do you say, ahí va una fly?
No.
Mata la mosca.
Mata la mosca. No.
Fly got worried. Or I don't know if he cared. He probably was worried about his money.
He needed the 200 pounds, bro.
Yeah.
Because he was like, shit, this bitch didn't come back. Literal. That's probably what he said.
Yeah.
This bitch did not come back with my monies.
Yeah, so Fly, cuando ella no regresó, he said that he todo el día looked for her. The whole day. He
wanted his money para
do drugs.
Yeah,
and then he reported her missing when he couldn't find her. So on Monday, May 24th, 2010, so just 2 days after she had gone missing, there was a clue in Suzanne's disappearance. The police were notified of some CCTV footage captured in a nearby flat complex called Homefield Court. So the caretaker of the building, Peter Gee, he was reviewing the footage from over the weekend, which was like routine because they needed to look for like crime activities or así. Mm-hmm. Now, Homefield Court had 16 cameras in total. Tenía unas at the front entrance, the corridors, and the stairwells.
They were well patrolled, basically.
Yes. So he was looking over the 14th camera over the footage from Saturday. He was doing this on a Monday, so just over the weekend, which was on the 3rd floor. He was looking on the 3rd floor corridors camera. There wasn't anything of note until he reached 2:34 in the morning. He saw a woman coming out of flat 33. So behind the woman was Steven, and he was chasing her while carrying a crossbow.
I'm not surprised. Probably one of the 4 that he had on the floor.
He caught up to her, and he knocked her to the ground, and then started like dragging her back into his flat.
Oh my God.
And all this is, remember, this is the Peter Gee seeing this while he was reviewing the footage. So midway back to his flat, he aimed the crossbow at her head and shot it.
Oh, shit.
So he killed her right there and then on camera. He then proceeded to drag her by her legs into his apartment y cerró la puerta. So that was like at 2:34. So at 2:55 in the morning, he came out, made his way to the camera, and he stuck his middle finger out to the camera.
He knew that it was there.
He didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck.
Y luego con la otra mano tenía el crossbow y le andaba haciendo like...
Fist pumping?
Not fist pumping, but he was making like some kind of gestures with the crossbow y toda la madre. He just...
Not give one fuck.
No.
Now.
The person that he had shot with the crossbow was Suzanne Blaemeyers.
Wow.
So the police got a hold of this footage. By 4:50 p.m., about 60 police officers made their way to Homefield Courts, to Steven's flat, hoping to find hopefully Suzanne still alive. When they arrived to Steven's flat, police were surprised that he didn't put up a fight. He just said, "I'm in here."
Oh, come and get me.
Y luego cuando, they were apprehending him, he said, "I'm Osama bin Laden."
Wow. Okay. He took it too far.
So 40-year-old Steven, he was 40.
Damn, bitch, 40?
Was arrested and taken to the Halifax police station. And during his interview, he admitted to killing Suzanne and told them that he had severe issues.
Oh.
What he didn't do was tell them what
the issues were.
What he did to her.
What
he did to her body, because no la podían encontrar. She wasn't in the flat.
She wasn't there.
So like I just said, a search of the flat didn't turn up any clues pointing to Suzanne or her whereabouts, but obviously they did find the crossbow and all this other shit that he had in his apartment. Mm-hmm. So a large-scale search of the surrounding area ensued by the West Yorkshire Police. The following day, on May 25th, a man who was just like a regular civilian was walking along River Aire, un río pues, which is about 5 miles from Steven's flat, when he saw like a rucksack. That was my throat, sorry.
A what sack?
A rucksack floating in the river. So he pulled it out, and then inside, he found a woman's head.
Okay.
It still had the bolt embedded of the crossbow.
Oh, wow.
When the police showed up and searched the river, they found more body parts that were later determined to belong to Suzanne.
Shit.
Police divers also found a makeshift toolkit in a suitcase that contained hacksaws, knives, and razor blades. So they concluded that it could have been used to dismember her body, and it was also found 200 yards away from Suzanne's remains. Now, the bag wasn't obviously to get processed in hopes of finding any sort of DNA or any physical evidence. Now, based what was found inside Steven's flat, the police were able to piece together what happened to Suzanne. So they determined that he killed her and then dismembered her body in his bathroom, placed her remains in the rucksack, and left the apartment to dump the body. Her clothes were found in a bin a short walk from the flat complex, and there was extensive TV footage of Steven walking with bags of some sort, which he admitted were full of body parts, to the nearest train station, took it to Shipley's, where I guess it's like the area donde está el River Aire. And
I thought like Shipley Donuts.
No way. And then that's where he obviously dumped the body remains in the river. Now, during Steven's interviews, the police were surprised when él mismo. Like, they didn't ask him ni nada.
He was just giving out information like the compa de last week.
Yes. He brought up 2 other women who had gone missing.
Oh, my God. No.
Susan and Shelley. Like I just said, the police never brought it up to him. He gave that information freely on his own. He said that he had killed all 3 of them, Susan, Shelley, and Suzanne. And isn't it weird that all their names are kind of similar? Mm-hmm. And then Suzanne and Susan. And he, not just them 3, but that he killed several others también.
Oh, shit.
He didn't give them a lot of details about the others. So they didn't know if he was just making that shit up. Le estaba echando más crema a sus tacos. And, you know,
bitch. I mean, he's a liar.
Yeah. So. And you didn't need to. You already killed 3 people. Why would you add more to that?
Yeah, but
that's horrific.
There's no reason why he would lie. But then at the same time, I mean, he is a liar.
He's narcissistic.
Yeah. So he just wanted
attention.
Attention, yeah.
Now, when it hit the news that it was Stephen that had killed Suzanne, Shelley, and Susan, people were shocked. Like I said, they just thought he was weird and eccentric, walking his pet lizards and shit, pero
not that far.
Not that far.
Yeah.
Even like the fellow sex workers, like otras muchachas, they truly couldn't believe that it was him because they all knew him. I mean, he lived in the area.
Lived in there, yeah.
Y dice que a veces les hacía de comer.
Well, he wanted to maybe get their trust, you know?
Maybe. Dice que he was just really nice. He was welcoming and he les hacía conversación. A veces if they didn't have anywhere to go, les ofrecía su apartment. And
shit, y no las mataba.
He would take them out for drinks. And they said that the girls that were talking after all this came out, they said that he never asked them for sex. So I don't know. It was like sex. He was like a mind fuck. Yeah, I don't know what he was, trying to do.
I mean, he did have a major or whatever degree in fucking psychology. So
he's trying to go for
surprised.
a PhD.
Yeah.
He knew he was playing mind games for sure. Yeah. So Stephen was charged with the murder of all 3 women on May 27th, 2010. In their continued investigation, police found 81 more body parts in River Air that belonged to Suzanne Blaymeyer.
Oh, shit, man. He made them in little pieces, bro.
That's crazy, dude.
That is crazy.
I can imagine. I can imagine their families. No, not even that your loved one is no longer here, that somebody else removed them from this planet and then did that to their bodies.
Yeah, like you already killed her. Like, why do you have to do that? Make it worse. You know, how am I that? I don't know. That's crazy.
DNA tests showed that not all body parts found belonged to just Suzanne, but they also found some tissue that belonged to Shelley. So with the finding of the tissue, investigators had the first piece of physical evidence that linked Stephen to Shelley's murder, besides just his confession. Right?
Uh-huh.
But that wasn't the only piece of evidence that would link Stephen to Shelley. It was real random. Not random, but just kind of stupid that, of him, I guess, and if he's so smart. So after Stephen had killed her, he left his phone on a train, and whoever found it sold it to, I guess, like a pawn shop or like a secondhand shop. So that person that bought it from that shop found a video on that phone.
Oh.
And if I was that person, I don't think I would ever be well again.
Yeah.
The video, it was, so obviously le llevó el teléfono a la policía. And in this video, it was Shelley. And she at first was naked in a bathtub. And then she was...
Already unalived or was
no,
she...
yo creo que todavía estaba viva. And then first she was in the bathtub and then she was hogtied on a bed.
Oh.
And then the words on her back, like on her bare back, decía, my sex slave.
Okay.
And then they were spray painted on her. Y después you could also hear Stephen giving like commentary or saying in the background, saying, quote, I am Ben Pariah. I am the bloodbath artist. Here's a model that is assisting me, end quote.
Oh, was he was Osama bin Laden, don't forget that.
Regarding Susan, they didn't find anything linking him to her. And Stephen sadly refused to tell them what he had done with her body.
Well, they didn't find anything, but they didn't also find anything.
This is Susan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he said that he had killed her.
Yeah, but that's
they never found her either.
Right. Yeah, so, they never found her remains.
Like, okay.
He never told them either.
Yeah.
So thankfully, during like a very thorough search of his flat, the forensic team found blood specks, like tiny blood specks belonging to Suzanne in his bathroom.
Okay.
So again, physical evidence that's linking him to her, even though he had just said he had killed her. It is believed that he killed her using a hammer, just like his idol, the Yorkshire Ripper. Get better idols, como decía Billy Sarian.
Easy.
Investigators also learned that I just said he was calling himself Vampiriah, pues. So this was his online alter ego.
So he was posting online?
Yes, según que era Vampiriah el way, and described himself as someone who brought hate into heaven.
What in the world?
And just hours before he killed Suzanne, he posted on his socials that Vampiriah had finally emerged into the world. I think he posted it on MySpace.
Wow.
Now, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, so where's the cannibal part? I don't know who you want to know how he becomes a cannibal, pero
I really was not even thinking about that.
You're like,
to be honest.
No me digas porque no quiero saber.
No. But if you're going to tell me, I will listen.
Well, it's part of the case. So, yes. Now, on May 28th, 2010, when he appeared in front of magistrates and was asked his name by the, court clerk, he didn't answer with the name that he was given at birth. He presented himself as the Crossbow Cannibal.
Oh.
So él mismo se dio el nombre. Wow. Not the media.
The thing is, that's what I'm saying.
Usually the media is the ones that
names them. Pero that's what I'm saying. He was so full of himself. He didn't want
the shock value.
And he didn't want anybody to miss anything that he did. You're gonna know that
it's
did
me.
This. Yeah.
Yeah. When it was announced in court, obviously, ahí está la familia de las 3 victims. And I kind of it took everybody, but everybody was shocked. It took them by surprise. And 30 seconds went by when they realized what he had said. The families just started crying. I would die. I'd be like, yo aquí cap.
Yeah.
No, I think they would have to hold me back because.
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I just feel like they probably were we can't believe that this happened or that she had to go through that.
Or that it got
worse.
It got worse. Yeah, exactly. But again, people didn't know if to believe what he was saying because how do we know that he wasn't just talking out of his ass, Like we said earlier, he was deeply narcissistic. So was he just saying it for attention? According to experts, it was a possibility that he might have consumed his victims, but they were not sure. He knew the power that statement would have, and he wanted to make, like you just said, he wanted to make a name for himself. He wanted infamy. He wanted to stand out amongst other serial killers. There was some evidence found in his flat that suggested that he might have been telling the truth because there was DNA evidence on his cooktop on la estufa, and along with the fact that he never lied in his interviews about killing the women or how he did it. And, he spent a good enough time with the body. So what else could he have been doing, So that's why they thought that maybe it was a possibility that he did do it, but it was never 100% confirmed. So on October 15th of 2010, there was a pretrial hearing in Bradford Crown Court where more details about the murders came to light. So I know we said that, Steve, that person found his phone and they found that video, pero it's when kind of they let everybody else know también that there was more videos and more pictures of what he had done. So on December 21st.
And on his phone probably too, right? Yeah.
On December 21st, a hearing began in Leeds Crown Court. And by this point, he hadn't entered a plea of not guilty or guilty, but he ended up pleading guilty to all charges and was sentenced to life in prison by Justice Openshaw. Now, the families of Susan, Shelley, and Suzanne did later speak, and Suzanne Blameyer's mom, Nikki, she went on to say, quote, I wake up and think about my bright, articulate, and much-loved daughter every day, and I am serving a life sentence as a result of what this man has done.
Yeah.
Shelley's mother, Jill, she said, her death will haunt us for the rest of our lives. And then Susan's mom, Christine, y pobre señora, I mean, all of them, pero de por sí la señora, su husband already tiene dementia.
Yeah.
Imagínate, and
She
your daughter.
was finally getting some help from her daughter.
And she was getting back on track. Yeah. And she said, Christine said, our lives will never be the same without her.
Oh.
Now, bitch ass Stephen was sent to Wakefield prison where he will be for the rest of his life. And since
Hopefully he's having a horrible day.
I hope so. Since his time there, he has gone on a hunger strike. Muérete, güey.
Muérete a la verga, estúpido
He
rata.
attempted suicide.
No. Se me mate, no.
Now, sadly, to this day, Stephen has never revealed where the bodies of Susan and Shelley are, even after pleas from their families.
He probably ate them.
And he also has never given a reason why he killed the 3 women.
And we still don't know why, because he still, whenever he would do any of what he did.
He's still holding on to, that's still a power, a control, some sort of control that he's holding on to by not telling them.
Yeah,
it's
he went to school for that.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what the fuck
and that
he's
is
doing.
causing pain to these families to still not know where their loved ones are.
Wow.
So that's the case of the Crossbow Cannibal, allegedly. Cannibal.
Según él. That is something crazy. Like you don't have any words for that. Like how do you follow up with that? That is crazy. So let us know what you think. If you would like to follow us, you can find us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod on Instagram. And if you would like to leave us a message, leave us a comment, download our episodes, leave us a review. We would really appreciate it.
All the stuff.
All the stuff that we're supposed to say, and then we still kind of mess up and forget what to say.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Bye.